Welcome to another edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline. Thanks for watching our live Tuesday night show. I'm Al Levine, the Talking Machine. Chip the Prophet Hayner's back at about 90% efficiency. Thanks for not getting us sick, Chip. We appreciate it.
Hey, man.
Smoking Jim Frazier's wrapping up. Oh, we'll do Olive Oil's Pizzeria. Look at that plate. Can you focus on his plate? Get his plate first. He packs a nice plate there.
I ain't saying nothing.
Look at that. Olive Oil's Pizzeria. Call them now. 412-831-1900. And we have the hot sausage hoagie. Smoking Jim loves that.
I do.
Watch your fingers now. You want to catch this just to show that I was saying the right number? 412-831-1900. Give them a call now. Talk to our man Zach and Jay that are there.
Zach?
Yeah, nice blonde-haired young man. You've been in there, so you've told me. Nobody's seen you there yet, but you buy those pizzas all the time. That's enough for a disclaimer there on Smoking Jim. We are now up to likes of 5,228 likes, so thank you very much. We appreciate it, and I know a few of you at the show last night, we'll talk about that, did like it, so thank you very much. We're seen on Verizon 32 everywhere in the Pittsburgh area from Nemacolin all the way up to Cranberry, Wexford. So thanks to all of you watching and telling us about that. And on Comcast 7 only in Bethel Park. And I was at the Sheetz gas station the other day because I knew this storm and snow was coming, so I needed some gasoline. And I see this gentleman who watches our show every day or every time it's on. And he's looking at me, and I don't know him. One of the few people I don't know. So I go, "Excuse me, do I know you?" He goes, "I know who you are. I watch you guys at least twice a week." Sonny Jackson, right there off of 88 near Sheetz, was at the gas station. And I said I'd give you a shout out, my friend, to you and your wife. She was sitting in the car comfortably and didn't get her name.
See, I thought you were going to finish that one with the guy was going to say, "You know Jim Frazier."
No, he actually didn't know him. I don't know why. He didn't know him. He said he knew somebody named Ed McMahon. He didn't know Smoking Jim Frazier. No, I didn't ask. He just noticed us. And a few other people were staring there too when he said that, so I don't know what that meant. We'll have to get into that. But yeah, thanks to Dave Cable. We're honored to have Devin Shea on the camera here, so
Wow.
It's awesome. So
Thanks,
I'm going to
Devin.
have him do a little promotion. We always do the Joey Fabus Cancer Foundation with Stay Joey Strong at the end of the show. But I wanted people to see the brochure because you can donate as little as $1 to help them find out what DIPG is. It's so horrific. This great young man died at 8 years old right before his 9th birthday. You know, the family has a lot of great things that they're going to be doing to help promote, try to find out how to even cure the disease or why it's caused and stop it. So check out the Joey Cancer Foundation. So appreciate that. Now, since I'm on charitable things, we have the Bethel Park Foundation, Community Foundation. They have grant money for organizations in Bethel Park. If you have a group project or activity, I'm sure Smoking Jim has a couple sweeties here that maybe you could do something. They'll actually give you money up to $5,000 if you turn in a grant. I'm actually on the committee now. I'm one of the members of that, the Bethel Park Community Foundation. So check it out online. Got to do that. Then we got the second annual Designer Bag Bingo. I mean, how could you go wrong? $25 to get in. You get all kind of cards. You get a door prize, ticket. They got additional bingo cards. So for all of you that want to play, this is May 6th. And the bags, well, I got to say purses, they're worth a lot of money, hundreds of dollars. So that $25, you can make some money. There's a 50-50 raffle. And last year, I know we paid out, I think, about $1,400 or $1,500. So a lot of people participated. Check that out. And Sid West Catering is there. And they got soup and salad. Great food by Sid West. Check it out. That's it for that, my friends. Now we go to What's on Your Mind. If you haven't watched our show, pay attention because we all tell you what's on our mind. sometimes it's not one thing. So I want to clarify that for our new viewers. And Sonny, you keep staying tuned. And Chief, I think you already know what one of our co-hosts is going to talk about. And we're going to start with Smoking Jim Frazier. What's on your mind, Smoking Jim Frazier?
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
Coming at you.
you got to see Levine. I feel like I'm dancing with the stars.
You don't look like it. But thank you.
But hey, I want to thank Al Levine, the talking machine, Dave Cable, my main man, Devin Shea, Ethan, and Chris in the control room, and for letting us do what we do each and every week at BPTV. We appreciate it. First of all, I'm going to start off with me and Al Levine, the talking machine, sometimes do what we call one show, two locations. One show, two locations. This morning on a different station, I did a boxing TV show called Pittsburgh Boxing Talk with Claudio Rosano, the CMU baseball coach. And unbeknownst to me, Claudio brings on as a guest Jimmy Cvetic.
That is awesome.
So it looks like on Saturday night, Al Levine, the talking machine, will be at the Meadows doing his thing, and it looks like I'm going to be stuck doing Golden Gloves. So, like I said, we'll do one show at two different locations. We got to spread ourselves around a little bit.
Smoking Jim, you're going to be so disappointed that I'm now friends with all the ring card girls there.
Oh, my goodness. Now I'm sad.
Well, I just like to tell you the truth. You don't tell me about a show or what's going on. And the nice thing about it is Jimmy Cvetic thinks that BPTV is PCTV. So he got his wish. It's not even close. But Smoking Jim, you have a fine time out there, and I know you'll be treated well.
Oh, it's only... I'll tell you what, some things you just can't get out of, unfortunately.
Yeah, here, look, Smoking Jim. Sorry, folks. I know this is a little personal and this is live TV, but there's a two-letter word that if you say that, you'll be fine.
That's like saying
no.
That's like saying no to you. I can't do it.
No, you just did. I got your media passes. Now I got a media pass. Oh my goodness, an extra one.
But what's on my mind is going to be a little longer than usual. And I know Al Levine, the talking machine, is going to get into this a little bit later. And Chip got the green pen going. But, hey, last night we had a great event. And Al's going to talk more about it. But with me and Al Levine, the talking machine, a lot of times what we do is we play chess, not checkers. And it's really not easy to do a show on location. But a lot of times we just get so overwhelmed and we get unexpected opportunities. Like last night we had two outstanding players on from West Allegheny High School. One kid's going to go to Bowling Green on a football scholarship. And the other kid, believe it or not, Al Levine, the talking machine, a sophomore, Brandon Lipford, he's probably going to be better than Tyler Boyd by the time he's a senior. He's unbelievable.
He's modest, too.
He's a modest, humble guy. Al couldn't pull nothing out of him. But this guy's a true superstar. He's almost an all-state player as a sophomore. But a lot of times we bring people on the show that I know that I don't know that I know. And we did that last night. We have there's an event coming up. I'm not going to mention what it is, but they created this event after 9/11 to honor service people like Devin Shea and guys like that. And nobody does it, and this organization's been doing it for 18 years. And the people that appoint the honorees are like the chief of police, the mayor, and those type of people. People have done outstanding things in community. So we brought on a gentleman last night who I didn't know I knew, but he's a hero in the community. He's going to be honored. And he came on, and I tell you what, I was so excited to see him because I actually knew him because he's the coach of the Garfield Gators. And if anybody knows anything about youth football, the Garfield Gators are a team in the inner city They have so many kids. Matter of fact, this is how great the Garfield Gators have been for the last 20 years. I mean, they went on a national winning streak of about 80 games in a row. But this is how great they are. Coach Tomlin's kids play for the Garfield Gators.
Wow.
And the whole community gets behind them. So I'm excited because now that we made that connection with the coach, we can bring on the parents and the kids from some of the other teams. And that was a great, great connection. So thanks, Officer Michael Gay. But what's on my mind is, and this is a little bit for Chip.
We covered me. Now,
Yeah, I told Chip last year that the Pittsburgh Pirates was 1 year away. And it looks like I'm right again. I'm predicting the World Series championship for the Pittsburgh Pirates. I told Chip also that the Pittsburgh Penguins should keep their firepower and great players intact. And it looks like the Penguins is going to win a Stanley Cup this year. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to win a Super Bowl this year. So we are family. I'm looking for the Pittsburgh Passion, the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Pittsburgh Penguins, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Bethel Park lacrosse team to all win championships this year. And that's what's on my mind.
that seemed like your fiction and fact section.
I got a special one for you this week.
Okay, I can't wait. 'Cause that was like a foreshadowing, they call that. A fiction and fact. Hope you fans enjoyed it. We're going to go to what's on your mind, Chip Hayner.
I told you, Chip.
Thank you very much, Jim. I thank you for your kind words about my beloved Buccos and all the other sports teams in the city. That this is a great time to be a sports fan in Pittsburgh. Every one of our professional teams is a team that can contend for a title. And you look around at all the other sports cities in the United States, not a lot of people can make that claim. Mm-hmm. But what's on my mind this evening, and we will get further into the Pirates in our segments later, as well as the Penguins. But what's on my mind is, Sunday, a frigid opening day down at PNC Park, and it brings back such fond childhood memories. The Pirates opener, it's like the rite of spring. It's like everything is born anew. Everybody starts out the first week of the season 0-0. Everybody's got a chance to win it all, and the Pirates have made some moves over the winter. Some of them people weren't happy about. We lost one of the most popular players in franchise history, a local product, Neil Walker. Sorry to see him go, but in the interest of making the team better, it was a move that had to be made. Another fan favorite who hit prodigious home runs, but sadly couldn't field the ball or throw it across the infield, had to be let go for a song. I mean, we didn't get anything for him. And the moves that we made to replace these players seem to have made the team stronger. But, being down at PNC Park on Sunday, the Pittsburgh Pirates showed how much they appreciate their fans. It was a first-class operation, from Jackie Evanko singing the national anthem. That girl is just unbelievable. Brought tears to my eyes listening to her sing the national anthem. The Pirates went as far as to allow James Conner, the running back who's fighting cancer, Hodgkin's lymphoma. Yeah. He's gone through 9 of his 12 chemotherapy treatments, still practicing with his teammates throughout the first pitch. What an inspiration for everybody. The Pirates just did a great job. It was a great game. It was freezing cold outside. But that's the way it is in Pittsburgh in early April. But I truly enjoyed myself. I am very optimistic about what this team's going to accomplish this year. They're putting an extremely good product on the field. And, I'm just looking forward to a wonderful summer. And that's about all that's on my mind for now.
Thanks, Chip. I appreciate that. Now, I want to thank David Fabus, Frank Fabus, and Coach John Burke that was at the game because of our basketball team. Now, they support Joey Fabus Foundation, like I was talking earlier. Well, I asked for a couple T-shirts, and it has our Live Joey Strong there. And Chip, this happens to be your new shirt.
Thank you.
That's an XL.
Thank you very
Smoking
much.
Jim, I told them you haven't lost any weight, but they gave me this shirt anyhow. Dave Fabus went up to his vehicle, got these shirts out for me, and I wanted to get this and show this. I can't see if you got it perfectly, Devin. And then check out the back. This shirt is so cool that I'm honored to have one myself. Of course, but I got my boys here. And he's going to have more T-shirts in the future. So thanks, Devin.
You take
Smoking
care.
Jim.
You take care of
Thank you,
everybody.
and thank you for the Joey Famous Foundation.
Well, I figure
What
we
a
supported
wonderful
all
cause,
the
and I tell you what, I will wear this shirt proudly.
And Smoking Jim, it's a 2X.
All right, I can get into that.
So I don't know. It seems
Might be
cut a little
tight
large.
under the
Yeah.
arms.
It might be tight around the neck a little. I was looking at the stretch check. Good luck. Or here's what my thought was. That could be a night shirt for one of the Sweeties with Jimmy.
I got some plus sizes. I love them. I love the
Well,
plus
even if they're
sizes.
not, they can still wear them. Okay?
I love all women.
Try to be nice there. I only have a couple things on my mind. One has to do with the Pirates because, I said they're fine how they are. I haven't liked them, for 5 years, but the last 3 years, I'm all in. I drank the purple Kool-Aid without sugar. And what inspired me, I'm watching the whole game, but I watched the first inning. Saw it play at first base. First baseman got the ball, was able to toss it to Liriano. 1 out. Then I look over, there's a hit to third base. I go, this is going to be a good sign. Catches the ball, makes a perfect throw to first base, and they're even announcing first and third doesn't seem to be an issue because I was watching the national TV. I wanted to hear what they thought about some of these moves, and they were saying that, there's a lot of iffy, first base, third base, but they have the best outfield in the league, they're saying. So after those two plays, I heard the announcer switch around. Pirates might be for real this year. Then they scored a run or two, and they're like, St. Louis might be in trouble in this game. This was on the national show. Then I had to go to the Bucko show and hear the new guy, Joe Block, and walk, and just a great game to watch it. I enjoyed that. Then last night, I always like to watch the finals. I don't play the brackets. And of course, I picked the loser again, North Carolina. I still don't know why they didn't put anybody in front of the guy shooting the ball at the end. They just let him go. He fired up a long distance three, and Villanova wins again. Just an awesome game from the first half. It looked bad, then it looked good. North Carolina come back. Very exciting. What a way to end the season. There was no real favorite except for a couple teams that got knocked out. Look at Syracuse got blown out. Everybody thought they could go all the way now. So even if Pitt beat them and they come back from that, who could imagine that? Maybe next year there'll be some hope for Pitt in the NCAA. That's what's on my mind. We got our segments now. Smoking Jim gave that foreshadowing of fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac. Let's hear some fiction and fact, Smoking Jim.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. Man, that's some good soda pop. Listen,
I never saw you drink Coca-Cola.
a lot of people
Must have been free.
a lot of people know by now, and I've just been saving it for the show, that I was honored to have lunch with Tammy Bradshaw, the fourth wife of Terry Bradshaw, and Terry Bradshaw. And so I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. And most people know Terry Bradshaw. If you don't know him, Google Terry.
Hold it. Everybody on our show watching it bleeds black and gold.
They said everybody
Yeah.
knows him
Yeah.
because I
Yeah,
talked
don't
to
hide that as a secret.
I talked to a few young ladies that didn't know who he was,
Are
and
they Steeler fans?
I guess they're maybe hip hop fans.
Okay, good.
So anywho, I met Terry down 1 o'clock in the afternoon at the Westin Penn Hotel downtown. It cost me $12 to park, but the lunch was free.
Terry didn't
Yeah.
get your ticket comped?
No, you know what? I was looking around. I said, "Oh man, I forgot. I should have parked uptown and
You
caught the
didn't
bus."
tell him who you were?
So I
Smoking
get.
Jim was just so enthusiastic. But the one thing, Smoking Jim, excuse me, you're getting me going. It's getting contagious. I have to ask you a question. Why were there no photos
I'll-
of anybody?
I'll get-
Because
I'll get
this
to that.
bothers me to no end. I've checked 16 sources.
I'll
And
get to
nobody
that. I don't want to
even-
put the cart before the horse.
Okay, go ahead then. I'm going to stop interrupting. But
So-
you got me so worked up because you were bragging about with Terry Bradshaw everywhere online. You want to know what questions?
Yeah.
And we didn't hear anything that happened.
So
You saved it for the show.
yeah, I saved it for the
This show, or
This-
you said
this
today
show.
with
Well,
Claudia.
that one. Even if I did say it, it wouldn't be on for a
You
while.
did say it then.
So I
God.
didn't. I didn't, but it
Oh,
wouldn't be
okay.
on for a while.
Thanks.
So I get there and I walk past Terry the first time. I'm looking around and one, he looks a lot older even in person than he does on TV. But this guy's in a wheelchair, right?
No.
And so I go over and I introduce myself because we never met. I introduced myself and we got to talking. And so I went right to the cast on his foot. I said, what happened, you know? And I was surprised. His wife is really good looking, Tammy, classy lady.
How do you know her?
And Terry had just sold, he had a lot on his mind because he just sold one of his ranches in Oklahoma for $10.8 million. So he was able to cover lunch. And so I said, Terry, what happened? So he says, I got my right foot fused. So I turned to the side my smartphone and look it up because I didn't know what that meant, you know. So I'm an expert now on it. So he said, I also got my right knee replaced. And he said, next week, which is this week, I'm going to get my left wrist fused. So we enjoyed lunch. We talked about everything under the sun.
Did you?
Yeah,
His first three wives?
Gateway football, Cal State, Cal U football,
Okay.
God's country. We talked about everything.
Chuck Noll.
No, we didn't bring up Chuck Noll.
That's what I thought.
But the guy is absolutely the funniest white man I've ever been around. Been around a couple funny brothers.
Really?
But the funniest white man ever been around. I laughed so hard, L. Levine, the talking machine. And I tell you what, the guy, we've been around some great people. You know, Mike Tyson and some people like that. But Terry Bradshaw is just somebody. I mean, we're sitting in a restaurant and he's like yelling out the people calling over. He's grabbing them off his wheelchair. I mean, he's just so funny. You just look at him and you just laugh. And he's retired now. He has his fourth wife. He seems to be happy.
Is he done
And
with the Fox Sports thing?
yeah, he retired. He stepped away from that. And he made a promise to me.
Here
He
we
made
go,
a promise
folks.
to me
Please
that,
listen. Turn up your volume.
that he would come to Pittsburgh once a year and we could get together when he comes. And he made that promise. And I told him, I'm going to hold you to it, Terry. So that's it. That's it. And the reason there's no photos is I'm 2,000 photos over the limit to take a photo. So I couldn't take a photo on my phone.
You
But
could have called me up, you know that.
but the one good thing, you will be able to see the photos next show because I did have a photographer there from the New Pittsburgh Courier.
Good.
And it'll be a 2-page story.
Or were you
on
allowed
the
to write
lunch.
it?
Yeah, on the lunch for. I didn't have to really. I already kind of knew what I wanted to write, so I really didn't have to take a whole lot of notes. I kind of knew what he was going to say, but
That you could print.
so
That you
yeah,
could print.
yeah. So I didn't really have to take a. I
Nothing
jotted down a few
controversial, Chip.
things,
So
but the story pretty much already written
in other
itself.
words, you were lobbing him some softballs.
Oh my
And he was
goodness!
eating like this.
And, man, I tell you what, man. One time he rolled to the bathroom. Well, I was pushing him around a lot, but Tammy took him to the bathroom. I'm sitting there thinking, wait a minute. There's no prices on this menu, so it's expensive. The two folks with the money
Wow.
rolled out of here. I hope they ain't sticking me with the bill.
Smoking Jim.
But they rolled back.
Let me explain something. When they really have to go to the bathroom, they do. They're not you. Hey, talking machine, I'm going to the bathroom. Devin goes, Smoking Jim leave. I go, yeah, Batman left.
Did I
He's like-
pull a Batman last night?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Devin goes, is smoking Jim really gone? I said, yeah, he's gone. He did say that.
And that's fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Thank you, Smoking Jim.
All
I
facts.
appreciate
All
it,
facts.
according to you.
Devin got his boots
Chip
on.
Painter, we got to go to trivia
Trivia
time
time.
because that was just too much.
How can you follow that?
Well, there's
Right now.
Trust me, I'll find a way. But, I'm going to wrap this up with the majority of NCAA basketball tournament trivia, in honor of the completion of the Final Four last night, the NCAA Men's Championship, and also in honor of tonight, NCAA Women's Championship. Okay?
That's
But to start off, I found a little bit of interesting trivia regarding opening day of baseball. Because I was at the opener on Sunday, and I truly am a lover of the game of baseball and the history and the traditions
general,
of
too, yeah.
baseball. There has been once in the history of Major League Baseball that a no-hitter was pitched on opening day. And it happened, okay? But the Seattle Mariners are the team with the second longest current streak in baseball. Right now, they're at 14 seasons where they have not made the playoffs. They're just a
Losing
just a couple of losing seasons from the way that it looks like they're playing. They could give us.
They'll never catch the Pirates.
It's only 20 then.
So last night, the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship was completed. And, I was got me thinking about a lot of different things regarding the NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament. I found something interesting here. It says, who coined the term March Madness, and did it first refer to the NCAA Basketball Tournament?
Great question.
And the answer to that question is an Illinois High School Association official came up with the term March Madness in 1939, and it was about high school playoff basketball. For the fascinating story, check out this article from the slate of about the history of March Madness. I never knew that. I thought that this was a phrase that was coined by CBS for television. But I did find that quite interesting. And I also wanted to bring up another thing. Who is the only player to win the MVP award 3 years in a row in the NCAA? He won the MVP for the Final Four 3 years in a row.
You sure?
And that would have been none other than Lou Alcindor. Okay, and why would Lou Alcindor only win that award
Couldn't play as
3
a
years in a
freshman.
row? Because back when he was in college, freshmen were not
that
allowed to
allowed?
play
Good call.
in Division I sports. So he won his sophomore, his junior, and his senior season.
Skyhook.
So
Skyhooked his way to the
so
Wow.
that was
Why
an
don't they
interesting
do more
thing.
now?
Then I started looking at, which teams have won the most national championships. And, the easiest one to
Stay with his team.
was UCLA. UCLA has won 11 national titles, 10 of which were won in a 12-year period by the Wizard of Westwood,
I remember
John
that, Chip.
Wooden. Okay. Next, coming in second was the University of Kentucky with 8 national championships, followed by Duke and North Carolina, each with 5. North Carolina could have gone one up on Duke by winning last night, but Villanova had a little something to say about that.
Yeah.
So the next thing I was thinking about, and this is going to lead into what I'm going to talk about next, was how many undefeated NCAA championship teams have there been in the history of the men's basketball tournament? Well, the answer to that question is 5. Okay, 3 of them were UCLA teams of John Wooden's, the 64 team, 72, and the 73 team. The University of San Francisco was undefeated in
With Bill Russell.
1956.
Bill Russell, yeah. Good
Yes,
job,
sir.
Chip. Good
And then
job.
the last undefeated men's national champion was Bobby Knight's Indiana team of 1976.
Check that.
That is the very last undefeated men's champion, and not even the University of Kentucky, with the team that steamrolled everybody a couple of years ago, which sent
Good.
everybody to the NBA.
I need a fact
But-
checker.
Okay, you can go ahead and check them, Jim. I just
Smoking Jim, I
decided.
checked them all, and they passed.
Okay, so
They
now
passed the
the
test.
next thing I wanted
Great
to
job.
mention was You know, I talked about a couple of weeks ago. I talked about who's had the highest point total in an
Yeah.
NCAA championship game, and it was Austin Carr, who played for Notre Dame, fighting Irish, and he actually had 3 games of over 50 points.
Wow.
Okay, he had 62 in the one game, 2 games over 50 points. But the interesting thing was, there's a Michigan basketball player who holds the tournament record for most points scored in an NCAA tournament. That would be none other than Glenn Rice, who scored 184 points in 6 games.
Wow.
You know,
That's
and
not
that
bad.
was in the year that Michigan won the national championship. This was prior to Chris Webber and the Fab Five and Jalen. I believe it was 1989 was when they won that championship. So that was the year that the head coach got sick or something, and they had Steve Fisher came in and jumped in and took over for the team. So I brought up all these facts about undefeated seasons, number of championships, and everything, and that leads me to history about to be made tonight. Tonight, the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship will be played, and tonight, Gino Auriemma will be going for his 11th national title as the head coach of the University of Connecticut Women's Huskies.
Good job.
This is probably the most amazing basketball coach in the history of the game. I think he even pales the great coach John Wooden. And I'm looking back at the number of national championships that Gino has already. He already has 10 national championships to his name. Of those 10 national champion teams that he has already won, 5 of them are undefeated. His team tonight, when they win the championship, which they will do so handily, will be his 6th undefeated championship and his 11th national champion. That is a record that I don't think will be broken anytime soon. And Breanna Stewart will become the first college athlete to win 4 national championships in her college basketball career. These are things that, you know, I know a lot of the people don't pay attention to the women's game. Tonight's game may be worth paying note to. History is about to be written. There's my trivia.
Give me
tonight.
John Wooden any day.
I'll take him too, but thank you. You got to give credit where credit's due. He's doing it in a league that he's competing in. That's what you go at this time and era.
And you know, there's a question now: is the performance of the Connecticut women's team making the rest of the women look bad? I think, you know, by performing at the level he's performing, it can only make the rest of the teams better, because they have to get better to be able to compete.
When is it going to do it?
Hey, you know what? As long as
They
he
been
keeps
getting
on
better.
winning, I mean, they're playing the same game. The hoop's 10 feet, you know, the ball's the same side. It's
Last
5 on
15 years,
It's
they
5
got
on the
better.
side, you know, and they are just doing it better than everybody else.
All I know is this. All I can know is this.
Turn your dial.
And I've been, and that was a great point, Chip. And you know my favorite basketball is women's basketball. And so is it for my dad. My dad loves it, and he loves basketball. But, and I don't want to step on Al Levine to talk.
Oh, no. Go ahead, because this is a classic moment
Yeah.
on Pittsburgh Sportsline right
Right.
now. I can't wait to hear what you're going to
But
say.
I'm going to
Please.
make a prediction right now. Now, I haven't seen all the great ones. I done seen Swin Cash. I done seen all the great basketball players from Gateway, and they had a lot of great women basketball players. And I've seen Kim
mention
Burrow,
their names.
Kim Burrow from Hopewell, that's a starter for Maryland. Brianna Wise, who's a team captain as a true freshman at the University of Pittsburgh. But Gino, if you're watching this show in Connecticut, I know you cried a few days ago, so you're probably missing this show. But if you're watching this show and you recruited in this area to get Ashley Battles out of Manchester, and that's the goal of anybody living in Manchester, is to get out. There's a young lady playing basketball for the Bethel Park team, and she's only a junior. She's a forward, and she can play for UConn. And I'll just leave it at that.
Wow, smoking.
And we met her last night.
Very good.
Definitely. And I've seen him play about 5 times this past year. And that goes to our on location at Hollywood Lanes. I know I usually don't say we had our best show, but we had our best show. And it started out with a video that was on TV, and it was about bullying. And they bullied this young man, Isaiah, in Penn Hills, and there's still a lot of issues out there. Well, Smoking Jim and I met him a week ago at the MMA, which is a violent sport. And Pinnacle Fighting, they honored Isaiah with a championship belt because he's a hero to us. He's put up with this. He has to deal with it. His family's suffering from it, but he's a proud young man. He's a good young man. He was crying on our show from tears of happiness with what we did. Thanks to Jeffrey Park of Hollywood Lanes. You know, he set this up. I was honored to be able to put him on and interview him as our first guest last night. You'll have to check it out tomorrow night on our show. And it's just interesting on how people can have problems and pick on somebody that's nice. This guy wouldn't harm anybody. He has a dream of going to the Bucco games. He's never been to one. So they're going to have a party for him at Hollywood Lanes. I heard it's 3 o'clock, and they're looking for different gifts for him and other things. So I'm sure something good is going to come out of it. More good's going to happen because of that. But check it out with Hollywood Lanes. It was an honor to be able to interview him, and that video will be out shortly, like I said, tomorrow.
What can we do to get him out of?
If you would have told me yesterday, I had 2 tickets for the 16th.
No, that's all right. We'd have
taken him down to the ball.
We got some sources that are working on it. Mario
Okay.
Tempest is right on it. He contacted some people, and we're looking good there. And some other things to try to help him. We also offered, this is somewhat serious, but Smoking Jim is a single man. So I said if we can track down where he lives, what his age is, what his real name is, Isaiah is welcome to live with him. But of
Get him
course,
out of Penn Hills. I'll do it.
you heard it, folks. I didn't want to force him to do it, but that may happen. Then, I can't believe what a great night it was. I've been trying to get Bethel Park coaches on our show. Bethel Park teams. I mean, we've had 2 young girls, Kelsey, the field goal kicker, was on, and we had I forget her name now, Rebecca or something, that we had her on, and she's the pole vaulter in cross country.
I remember.
We just had, well then tell me. We just had the team, the basketball, the girls Lady Hawks, with Jonna Burke, the head coach, who's a star in her own right, but a humble person. So, I mean, it was just awesome to have them on a show. I'll put up a couple group photos like I did. But they were on there, the starting 5 from freshmen up to juniors. I mean, they're just great girls. They like school. They don't believe in homeschooling like Smoking Jim, not to pick on him. And they're quite talented there. And they're so humble. They didn't want to give out any information because it's so competitive. I couldn't even get their record out till just about the end that it's 18-7. And Coach Jonna, you coach them. They're so happy to have you as a coach, and they listen to you, which is unbelievable. And it was just great to have them on. They're welcome back anytime they want, Smoking Jim, no matter what. All right, so it was just great to have them. Officer Michael Gay was just sharing stories out of Zone 5 and what he does. And of course, with the Garfield Gators. It's unbelievable with the families he's dealing with. Some of the kids don't even have parents. And they're star athletes, they're going to school. He's changing the community there. So when people say it doesn't happen or you don't hear this stuff, look, we got a kid being bullied in Penn Hills and people are standing up for him, helping him out. Now we have Garfield Gators for 20 plus years. Michael and his brother and some great other coaches. I let him drop every name possible. I didn't take notes like Smoking Jim. He's writing the next article. He's winning an award. Smoking Jim will have to explain that because he didn't explain any of these things. And he got me a few of the guests. I could explain what I was talking about, Smoking Jim, but thank you. And the 2 guys from West Allegheny, they were so humble. It's just amazing. And then, you know, one of the stars of the show who stole it was Brandy. She come on. She's suffered from cancer and survived that. You would never know. You didn't know, Smoking Jim. That's why when you were taking photos for Sweeties at the beginning, it's so popular, she forgot I was even there. Wow. She just liked you getting the photos there. And thanks to Frank Fabus taking all those photos. He's finally on board with how I want photos. And look, they're great. Wait till you see the next batch I put up, Smoking Jim. And Devin, you'll see that. Devin Shea outshone everybody. This was his best group of photos that I've seen. I didn't delete one of them. They were all great. He even took 2 of each one, and I couldn't even decide. I had to flip a coin on it. So Devin Shea can handle the video cameras like he is now, making us look great, but he did a great job with my smartphone. It's working pretty good, would you say? Well, let me take a selfie. You handle it.
Just a
Go ahead.
brief sports update.
Yes.
Gregory Polanco signed a
5-year deal.
contract
Ripping
extension,
him off.
and he went ahead and hit a RBI triple in the bottom of the second. Josh Harrison grounded out, drove him in. Pirates are up 2-0.
35 million. That's a rip
Nice.
No, the contract, if he sees it through to the end,
We'll talk in the
will
Pirates.
be worth
Wait,
60 million.
Chip,
Thanks,
wait.
Jim.
He doesn't understand incentives because he's traditional in baseball. Football, you can do whatever you want. That's another story.
He signed
folks.
the contract. Nobody put a gun to his head.
Thanks for the update. We're looking for a Penguin update, but we had a couple other guests. We had Lindsay Marie, who's the manager and host. She come up talking about sports that she's played. Jeffrey Park, the owner, was on as usual. And then I had a special guest, a friend of mine who's a singer, guitar player, Sherry Richards. If you haven't seen her perform, one of the best around. She's not a big sports fan, she told me. And she goes, I've been trying to see you come out to your show. Well, because we were at the Hollywood Lanes, she was there for that night for a musical performance. So I said, we got to get you on camera that you're on my talk show. So Rick Purcell, he performs with her. You remember Rick Purcell?
Oh, yeah, that's my man.
Yeah, he knows sports like nobody, and she did not. So it was nice to have Sherry on there. It's great to have everybody turn out. Great crowd there. We'll be back May 2nd, Smoking Jim said, the first Monday. More guests are coming. Thanks to David Fabus again for the shirts and going out to get them for us. Appreciate that. And that's our on location.
You missed one guess.
Who'd I miss?
3-minute guess. Sendell Taylor.
She wasn't a guest. She told me she wasn't a
Oh,
guest.
she wasn't on?
No,
Here?
she just did
Oh.
a public announcement.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were going to interject that. We had Sindel, who we always support her in all her ventures with, these contests she's in, and she's Mrs. Allegheny County, and she brought up a thing about she has a mitral valve prolapse,
Wow.
and that's a little thing where your valve like sticks or something, and you could die from it, or you could live a long life and not have it affect you. She was talking about her dad having a heart attack, can't even walk. So she was telling everybody that high school should teach CPR, Smoking Jim, and they should teach you more about your heart health. And women are suffering more than men right now with heart issues and heart attacks. So she come on the show. It was a surprise, and she looked beautiful as usual.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So-
sir.
And she comes out to support us whether she's on air or not. So that's why I didn't know if she was an actual guest, Smoking Jim. It was a public announcement on public access TV. So thanks again to everybody. We'll be at Atria's PNC Park at a new starting time. We already got guests lined up. Smoking Jim, we're taking over and under on it. We start at 6:30. I'm there, he'll be over the time limit of 6:30.
Sunday night, I'm sleeping under the Roberto Clemente Bridge so I can be on time.
Well, I saw a couple of your friends that are there, so I understand that. Maybe they'll share a breakfast. And that's on location. I can't wait for Bucko Talk.
Let's go.
We got to go Bucko Talk right now. I'm so happy with
I
the
can wait.
hitting. Okay, will you just take a little snooze? You want to bite another finger off the pizza? Some of the hitting was clutch hitting, Pitching, Liriano just had his first 4 or 5 innings were just awesome. The control he had more strikes.
And Liriano, Liriano is truly the ace of the staff, and I know Smoking Jim would
Just ignore
probably
that,
think
he's
that Garrett Cole should have started, even though physically he wasn't ready because he didn't have enough work in spring training. But Francisco Liriano is a lights out pitcher. He's got he's got a pitch that it just can't be hit by anybody. And if you watched him dealing, he was hitting all the corners, and he had the Cardinals flailing at pitches.
How about the called strikes?
In the game, there's 27 outs, and the Pirates struck out 14 Cardinals on Sunday. And if your starting pitching staff and relievers are striking out that many batters, it can't do anything but bode well for the team. But this year's team, And I've heard this from the experts. The Pirates have a better defensive team on the field this year than they had last year.
Oh, yeah.
And if you saw the kind of ball that they played on Sunday, this is the kind of game that the Pirates are going to play. They're going to be aggressive on the base paths.
Yeah.
They're going to run smart. They're going to run aggressively. You noticed that there was a suicide squeeze in the 8th inning, which, it failed, but I like the effort.
It's an aggressive effort, and it's like small ball. When they said small ball, because you got to make up for the homers you lost. They have the potential with some of these guys to hit the home runs.
And when everybody looks at everybody was picking the Cubs are going to be the 2016 World Series champs. Well, there's a little problem. There's 162 games between now and then, and we'll find out who's going to be the team that earns to be there. Here's what the problem is with the Cubs. The Cubs pitching staff, I don't believe, matches up with the Pirates pitching staff. Their bullpen is nowhere close to what our bullpen is. And, if you're looking at a bunch of second-year players who really haven't proven themselves yet, they did well in situations last year. Let's see what they do over a 162-game season. The Cardinals this year are a weaker team going in, and they have a lot of question marks on their pitching staff. One of the things that the Cardinals don't do well against is left-handed pitching. Obvious what happened on Sunday. Tonight, John Neese is dealing, and he seems to be dealing very, very well. So I believe that, the Pirates, in my eyes, they're going to be the division champs this year, and I think the Cubs will be the wild card team. I would not be surprised to see the St. Louis Cardinals miss the playoffs for the first time in 5 years this season.
What a profound statement there.
Well, you look at it like this. In Major League Baseball, the teams with the most wins in the last 3 seasons, St. Louis Cardinals have won 287 games. The Pirates have won 281. I'm going to tell you something. The Cardinals are getting older. Their pitching staff is not as deep as it used to be. The Pirates have got, lights out, the best bullpen in baseball. I mean, there's no question about it. You see what Tony Watson came in, did, shut them down. Feliz shut them down. And then Melanson, even without his best stuff on Sunday, still closed the door. What were you going to say, Jim?
No, you said nobody question. I question whether they're the best.
Well, we don't want all yes
men. What would you base that on, Jim? Do you have any statistical facts?
They still got 160 more games to play. And Lariano is one of the greatest pitchers of all time in April. He's an April ace.
Doesn't matter. Every win counts.
Well, just to give you a little refresher, Jim, because I know your memory escapes you. Then the Pirates have been in the wild card play-in game 3 years in a row. The first time they were in against the Reds, Liriano pitched and we won.
I don't count.
The next year, Edison Volquez pitched and we lost. Last year, Garrett Cole pitched and we lost.
Is Volquez still on the team?
Who's that? Yes, I wasn't sneezing, Jim. So,
Smoking Jim, we appreciate your question there because you question just about everything that you haven't stated.
I'm picking the Pirates for a number of reasons to win the World. I'm picking them to win the World Series.
Against this.
No, I think that the Pirates have enough hitting to overcome an average pitching staff. And I'll say this. I'm picking the Pirates. They got a 2-year window because number one, I think what they're paying the young man $35 million over 7 years is 6 years is so cheap. Well, it starts next year, so I'll just count this year as 7 because he's probably making $200,000. But if it goes to full 6,
the value of the contract is $60 million.
Yeah.
So you're $35 million. You got to get your facts straight.
But here's my facts. Okay. I'm basing it on the next couple of years because when Andrew McCutchen's contract comes up, he's gone. The Pirates will not pay. They refuse to pay him.
I'll bet against that.
Now, Jim. Now here's
that's my opinion.
This is what gets me.
They're going to pay him $200 million.
See, people are already complaining about what's going to happen 3 years in the future. And you know what? This is 2016, and there is going to be a great baseball season that we're going to experience over the next 6 months. What's going to happen in 2018 or 2019? I don't care what happens then. I'll worry about that in 2018, 2019, and don't be surprised if McCutchen gets extended. Mark my words.
Right, that mark the tape. Mark the tape.
One thing I want to tell you is Nutting's a businessman. And he has a player who's told him he wants to stay. That's like
What
a
player?
negotiator's dream.
What player?
Who are you talking about?
McCutcheon said he
Yeah.
wants to stay?
Now, obviously, Babe Ruth is looking over you because you're not looking over the Pirates. Now, think about this. Just a scenario. I don't know about the World Series this year. I don't think they'll be the wild card team. I think they can win the division.
Good.
That's what I
I
think.
like
But
the
I don't know
Cubs.
about further. It's just my thing. You don't know injuries. You don't know other teams. We don't know what happens here. But I'm around for the bandwagon. I'll ride it all the way.
Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
You're a former great pitcher. Do you believe the Pirates pitching staff is average or above average? That's the only two choices.
I think above
I'm asking
average.
Al Levine, the talking machine. I know you're a homer.
Well, you know,
Average or above average, Al?
Here's what I say. Some of them are average when they got here, but here's the shocking fact. Check out Ray Searage. Do you believe coaches can uplift players or maybe show them or teach them things like Chuck Noll did?
Claudio Rosano does that all the time, CMU.
Okay. Well, Ray Searage has been doing it at Pittsburgh Pirates. He's like
Jim,
because of that.
Jim,
Smoking
because
Jim.
you're a statistic freak, okay?
Without stats.
I just want
Without
a freak.
stats.
I just want you to go back and look at the pitching statistics for Major League Baseball for the 2015 season and see where the Pirates pitching staff was ranked.
They
I'm
really-
not going to tell you. I want you to look it out and find it out yourself.
And they dropped
it
off
speaks
in September.
and they won 98 games.
What's nice is you have people that are like front runners when they're winning, and then you have people when they're losing. Oh, that's gone.
Give me a Mr. October,
When
just
you-
once.
Reggie Jackson's no
Pedro
longer
was here.
in base.
Hey.
Pedro could have been there.
Like Barry Bonds, right?
Another one of your heroes who was MVP without the juice.
Another one without a championship ring.
Well, folks, I hope we helped you out. If you guys want to bring up any other sports, Smoky.
Yeah, well, you know, I'd like to make note of what the Pittsburgh Penguins have accomplished, and I'd like to give credit to where credit is due. Mike Rutherford, the general manager of the Penguins, has made a number of moves, improving the team with younger, faster talent, and the Penguins have adapted their play to suit the style of their players. The new coach, Mike Sullivan, is that his
Yes,
name?
yes.
Mike Sullivan has taken the team that was, what do you think, languishing under Mike Sullivan or Mike Johnston.
Well, there
And-
was a round peg in a square hole theory that was going on.
and he wasn't willing to adapt to the
Thank you.
talents of his players, and subsequently drug the team down. But you know, Rutherford has made the moves that are necessary. Sullivan has worked with the team, and I hate to say this, but I think the Penguins have been a better team since Evgeny Malkin got hurt than
Chip,
they were
the
before
stats,
him.
The stats show it. They're scoring almost 2 more goals a game. Without Malkin, they would not be in this position, though. He carried him on the back to get him there. He's hurt. He has a different style. He'll be welcome
Well,
back.
you know, and the thing that has me concerned, and you know, they've got Matt Murray now,
Yeah.
who's a great second goaltender. How long is Marc-Andre Fleury going to be out with this most recent concussion? Because to be honest with you, I think the Penguins MVP, even though Sid Crosby got the vote, the popular vote, I think the Penguins MVP this year has been Marc-Andre Fleury.
Oh.
Well, even when the offense was sputtering, he kept them in a lot of games they had no business being in, and
Right.
you know, he should get some type of recognition. I hope he's healthy for the playoff run. I
Well,
don't
it
think
just
they're going to
bothers
make
me
it if he
with,
isn't.
with that concussion he received in the game. He played with it. You know, and that's the other thing that you need time to recover. It's not his first concussion either.
No,
and
and
they're
I-
not reporting anything. There's like a blackout on it.
Well,
Sorry,
you know,
Smokey.
the head injuries, you
don't
know,
hear
look how
anything.
long Sid was out with his. You know, every one of them's different, and I just hope that he's able to be healthy for the playoffs. I don't think they should play him again until the playoffs start.
That may just happen because
I think
of
Murray.
all this,
I think
yeah.
Murray is going to do a great job. He's been doing a great job too.
Well, don't forget
back-to-back
Zatkov.
games this weekend,
Zatkov
plus a
can
shutoff.
play.
And Zatkov
Yeah.
can play in in a
He can
pinch.
spell him a little bit.
But,
definitely. Murray looks great.
Oh,
I'm
he
impressed
does.
by it.
He's definitely a.
And Letang's hit a different level. Look at his scoring, assists, and his defensive play.
Well, you know, and then the big trade over the summer, which I thought was a bust, is turning out to have paid dividends. The Phil Kessel trade. Phil Kessel was caught fire in the last 2 weeks, and he's just putting the puck in the net.
How about Cullen at 39 years old? What he's doing. He's going up and down the ice like a young man, and he's even scoring. Whatever they got or paid for him, it's paid dividends.
But Sullivan, coming up from the Baby Penguins, coached a lot of the rookies that they brought up from the Baby Penguins. So these are players that he knows what they're capable of doing. He knows how to utilize their talents. And they know his system. And it's been a marriage made in heaven.
No, it has. We're all right, Devin? A lot of communication there.
No,
the
Devin's
Penguins-
finally agreeing with some of the things that I'm saying about the Penguins because I've finally seen the light.
I love the Penguins except when they play against Buffalo. Buffalo's my team. I like bouncing.
Smoking Jim, people are learning stuff they don't need to know right now. Well, the nice thing with the Penguins is I've never seen their team score so many goals. You know,
Yeah.
they got another 6-game winning streak going into this game, Smoking Jimmy. You know, that's the league high in games.
And the
That's a
teams that they've been
They did it
beating
twice before.
are the teams that are fighting for positions in the playoffs with them. They've beaten the Rangers. They've beaten the Flyers multiple times.
They actually make the Flyers
You know,
look
they
bad.
beat the Islanders and the Flyers back to back this weekend. Shut out the Flyers.
Flyers may not make the playoffs.
It's,
I hope they don't.
You know, we'll see. But you know, wouldn't it be something if the Penguins and the Flyers ended up in the first round of the playoffs?
Yes. Paybacks.
Yeah,
Be nice.
that would.
It'd be nice.
It would be worth watching. I got to tell you.
No doubt about it. Well, we're done.
Shady McCoy will celebrate with the Flyers.
Yeah,
Thanks, Smoking Jim. That's really good hockey talk.
yeah.
He sort of went off the reservation again, folks.
No,
Stay
but
tuned.
you know, but they say Bovada posted the odds for the teams. They say the Penguins are 9-1 odds to win the cup, which they have them ranked either number 5 or number 6.
Wow. That's wow. All right, I just got a message. I think it's from Devin Shea. Let me see what happened here. Penguins, only team in the league who are 100% winners when leading after 2 periods.
It's good stuff.
Good stuff, Devin. Thanks to
Dev-
Devin Shea for that bit of trivia. there.
Cameraman, thanks to Chris Satter. Ethan's in the control room too. We appreciate you. Thanks to Bethel Park for allowing us to do this show. We appreciate all you do for us and the support. And we try to give back to the community. So we're going to be ending this show. Smoking Jim, you want to say goodnight?
Good night.
Chip Hayner,
Stay Joey strong.
thank you. I appreciate that. And you can see us 5 times a week, 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock, Tuesday through Saturday night. Verizon 32 and Comcast 7. And I want to say goodnight, folks, and stay Joey strong.